Does anyone else hate the forced messages that come up on your Kindle? I hate that. I just want to read my books. I don't need to know every new thing that you want me to spend money on. Believe me, I have no problem finding things to spend money on. You don't need to bring them to my attention. What's it called again? Anyway, just opened it and I don't know where to go with it. So here it is, trying to attack me in my studio. It's trying to murder me. Hi, welcome to FiberLoveDiary. I'm Trish if we haven't met, and if we have met, welcome back. How are you? Mountain goat time. The garbage truck just went by, so there was a lot of things to guard me against. This is the channel where I document my fiber journey. Today I'm going to start working on the Wool Gatherings 30 breed fiber sampler. I ordered it, I think it was back in October, and I unboxed it before I got COVID. I've gotten a few messages from people who want this to be like a class. I never really intended that. My intention from the beginning, and that's what I said in the unboxing, was that I'm gonna spin it, and if anybody wants to spin along, that would be cool. There is gonna be a hashtag. It is gonna be FLD Breed Study 21. So you can use that hashtag anywhere on social media. If you use that hashtag or tag me on Instagram, I'm going to share your post on my own story. And you could also go to the Facebook page for FiberLoveDiary. I will actually start a post myself, and that's one of the places where we can start a post with a picture and etc. And then other people can add their pictures and comments. You can't do that in every platform, so that's kind of what my plan is. Did a link in my last video where I mentioned it to the worksheet that I made. This is mine, so I do have the, I don't know, rights to distribute it. I took a picture of it, I put it up on Pinterest, and I linked to it. I will link to it again. And I've printed out 2 sheets because I'm gonna do the Charollais and the Cheviot for this video, and then I'll move on to the next ones. And I'm going to go alphabetically. It comes with a little card that lists the breeds. I'm gonna go alphabetically. That's how the card is. Let's do it. Also, see, you guys, look at this. This company sent me an entire huge box of, like, I don't know, 70 skeins or something of linen. Is it flax? It's linen once it becomes yarn, or is it not linen till it becomes material? Whichever. It says linen on it. All these, like, they're small little hanks of yarn. So here's one color. There's like 7 colors in here. There's 10 skeins per color. I don't know what to do with it, but I think I want to weave it. So if anybody has a great suggestion for something I could weave out of very, very fine linen, it's probably the same thickness as 8-2, I'm gonna say. So if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them because I want to use them. The colors are amazing. Look at all this. The colors are amazing. And I do want to weave with it, but I don't know what to make right now. Each of these I want to do the same way, these breeds. So I'm going to start with my breed study worksheet. I'm just going to fill out the date and the breed and the source, which is Wool Gatherings. And then I'm actually going to add a few notes from... Oh, there was wool stuck to this. How would you ever imagine that? From the Fleece and Fiber source book. So I have the Fleece and Fiber source book on my Kindle. Let's see if we can, right here. I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna look at each breed and give myself some information on my worksheet about each breed. Specifically, what I wanna know is what are kind of the ideal characteristics of the breed. It's been my experience that every breed has like a really wide variation in characteristics, and it totally makes sense, right? It's kind of like anything else that's been bred for certain characteristics. There have been people who have been very strict in their breeding regimens and have achieved all the I guess desired characteristics or ideal characteristics, just like in dog breeding. And then there have been other people who've just bred them for pets, let them breed on their own, all those kinds of things. And then the characteristics can shift kind of all over the place, as you know. I am starting with the Charollais. And I really want to know, what are the characteristics? So basically what it says here is that it was officially recognized the year I was born, which is just one more great thing that came out in 1974. Can I just say that? I would think this would go without saying, but Charollais is a breed that was developed in France, and it says that it was a meat emphasis. What it says is, because of the meat emphasis, the breed societies do not state wool standards. Very interesting. Didn't even know that was a thing. Typically fine to medium quality that are dense, which means lots of fibers grown in close proximity. So that means the locks are dense. That doesn't mean that your fiber will necessarily be dense. And a dense lock is typically like a fine wool characteristic. So I don't know if that matters to you guys, but it also says they're usually quite short. So in my brain, that equals down breed. It doesn't specifically say that though. But there's a picture in this book, and based on the picture, I would say, wow, that really does have qualities of a down breed. The fleece weight is typically 4.5 to 5.5 pounds. That's kind of like a medium size, as you guys probably know. A little on the smaller side, but kind of depends too on how much grease is in there. The staple length is 1.5 to 2.5 inches, which also is like a down breed characteristic. A few more things about the Charollais. For dyeing, it says it's likely no shine and that it will get nice color, clear colors is what it says. Carding is the most likely prep method. Okay, so this is why I wanted to look up the characteristics. I've mentioned this before. If you watched me a long time, you already know this, but I believe very strongly that you don't fight your materials. If you're getting a wool and it has certain characteristics, you cannot turn it into a different kind of characteristic wool. And so it already has some predispositions as to how it's gonna work. I don't know, best isn't the right, like how everything's gonna be in harmony. So your spinning experience is gonna be harmonious with the yarn that comes out and all those things. And you've heard me say before, I like to let the fiber tell me what it wants to be. And so all these things are telling me that a carded prep is better for Charollais. So I am going to run this through my carder just once to disorganize the fibers. I cannot tell if this is roving or top, and it does not say. I will spin it like pretty close to traditional long draw. A true long draw would just be like me holding it, letting some twist build up, and then just going and letting go. And I don't feel that comfortable doing that. If you're a purist, all I can say is, hi, non-technical, don't really mind. I'm gonna fill out my sheet and then I'm gonna go to the drum carder. I have finished spinning the Charollais. I got 86 yards. It's very springy. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you'll be able to really tell, but it's quite springy. It just springs right back into shape when you stretch it. It's probably fingering to sport, somewhere in there. I didn't measure the wraps per inch. I'm kind of shooting for fingering to sport for everything. We'll see how it goes. It's 2-ply. You saw me do the turkey hand plying technique. So down breeds, when you spin them with a woolen prep and do a long draft, they just draft like, I don't know how to describe it, but they draft a certain way. It feels a certain way. And this one felt like that. And also there is like something about when everything works together exactly the way you want it to or expect it to, and that's what I had with this. It was so nice to spin. I could easily buy myself a whole fleece and spin it and enjoy it because it was lovely, or like a couple of pounds of the stuff from Wool Gatherings. It was really nice, but I love a down breed and not everybody likes it. So I'm gonna finish my notes up. I've been thinking at the end maybe I'll dye everything and see how it all takes dye and how it all finishes after being soaked, and that'll be a separate video. So I'm not going to put any finishing notes for this, but I'm going to put the yardage and the weight and a few notes about spinning it and that kind of stuff, how I felt about it. I'd love to hear, if you're spinning along, how you felt about it. One down. Now I'm going to look Cheviot up in my Fleece and Fiber source book. I have my info sheet on that. I'm going to transfer a little bit about what kind of the expectation is based on the information in the book, just like I did with this. I have spun Cheviot before. Here we go. It says traditionally there were just 3 breeds in this family, all with origins in the British Isles. The Cheviot that we get is only marked Cheviot in this Wool Gathering, so I don't really know which of the 3 it would be classified as. It says the wool is suitable for soft enough, sturdy textiles with nice body, a unique 3-dimensional crimp that gives them resilience. I love that kind of crimp because it makes everything really bouncy. So here's some facts. Typically 5 to 10 pound fleeces can be up to 14 pounds. That's a pretty good size fleece, I'll tell you that. Staple length 4 to 5 inches. We'll be checking that in the sample we got. Fiber diameters 27 to 33 microns, so kind of in a mid range. Lock characteristics. Rectangular staples, slightly pointed tip. The crimp is bold and uniform with consistent quality from butt to tip. The breed associations specify no hair, kemp, or colored fibers in the ideal fleece. I guess we're just gonna see how it goes. So let's check the staple length because that's gonna help me decide what I'm doing. All right, so here's my piece of top and I'm gonna pull out a staple. This is a solid, and I am definitely feeling a lot of tension on both ends. 5.5 inch staple. Can you see that? Yes. So I am gonna spin it as top. This staple is longer than I would normally run through my drum carder, although you can't hold me to that because there's like no hard and fast rules, no fiber police. I do what I want. So let's go spin it. And we're back with the Cheviot. So my spinning is done. There we go. It's about sport weight. I got 70 yards. It's 1 ounce. And I will say the only thing that I really noticed that was a surprise for me was there was a teeny tiny bit of kemp in mine. Kemp is like, it's a little, I guess it's a hair, but it's brittle and it doesn't exactly have crimp. It just sort of has like a really teeny weeny little wave to it. I wanted to make sure I made a note of that. I really enjoyed spinning it. So to me, it feels kind of woolly, like what I think of as a wool feeling. So I'm gonna say I could use this for a sweater, but I'd probably want to wear something underneath it. I did enjoy it. I love spinning long staples, and I especially love spinning a long staple that still has enough crimp to make a squish. So it was good. It was very enjoyable. I did do 2 plies. I did use the turkey hand method again. I'm probably going to be using that a lot. But I mean, that's really no different from just like a straight traditional 2-ply in the yarn. And I would say this yarn doesn't have hardly any spring to it. The last stuff, and it's partly because it was spun woolen, it was so springy you could see it go back. This does not have that kind of spring to it. I'm not going to say it has none, but it doesn't have much, and that's partially because it was comb top. It's partly because I did a worsted draft. I mean, all those things contribute to how the finished yarn turns out. So we're done with these 2. I have to say I'm making sure that I put the little label back on each one so that I can tell, but the plan is at the end to wash and then dye all the skeins at once. So I'm using these things, and I'll link to them below. This wasn't my idea. I can't remember whose idea this was though, because it was so long ago. I think it was before I started my channel. I buy like 100 Tyvek bracelets, and the reason I buy these is because they can go in the wash and come out and they're still the same. So if you write on them like with Sharpie or even with a ballpoint, you can still read it. It's really cool. So those bracelets come in really handy so that they don't get confused through the washing process, and I can wash them all at once, all together. It'll be great. I will see you guys soon. The next 2, I've got them pulled out already, are Corriedale. It's actually the very first fiber I tried on the antique wheel that I learned how to spin on. And then I have Devon, which I have not spun before, and I'll tell you, it feels very hair-like. Usually not my favorite. However, sometimes I end up really liking it, so we'll just see how it goes. But these are the 2 for next time, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. I love you. Bye.